Hello everyone. This is the chapter from Standard 8 Science textbook, and today in this video we are going to cover all the topics like never before. So this chapter basically tells us about the various types of crops, about how the crops are grown, about the different types of agricultural practices performed by a farmer, and also about animal husbandry. So let us begin with the chapter. First is our crops. When the same kind of plants are grown in the fields on a large area to obtain foods like cereals, wheat, rice, maize, pulses, vegetables, and fruits, etc., it is called a crop. So whenever the same kinds of plants will be grown in a large field to obtain various types of food, it is referred to as a crop. So now we have understood the meaning of a crop. Next we move on to the types of crops. So on the basis of seasons, these crops are classified into two types. First is the rabi crop. First is a kharif crop. Second is our rabi crops. The crops which are grown or sown in the rainy seasons are called kharif crops. Some of the examples of kharif crops are paddy, maize, millet, soybean, groundnut, and cotton. The crops which are grown in the winter seasons are called rabi crops. Some of its examples of rabi crops are wheat, gram, peas, mustard, and linseed. So now we can differentiate between these two. The crops which are grown in the rainy seasons are referred to as kharif crop, and its examples could be paddy, maize, millet, soybean, etc. And the crops which could be grown only in the winter season are referred to as rabi crop, and its examples are wheat, gram, peas, mustard, and linseed. Try to remember its examples, which are very important. At least if you remember two also, that will be enough. So next we come on to the basic practices of a crop production. The various tasks performed by a farmer to produce a good crop are called agricultural practices. So to produce a good crop or a good yield in a crop, the farmer had to work very hard and had to perform a lot of tasks and work so that he could produce a good crop. And these all the tasks performed by a farmer to produce a good crop are referred to as the agricultural practices. So we will discuss every step one by one. So the first step is our preparation of soil, in which we will know about how the soil is being prepared with the various types of tools. Second is our sowing. Sowing is basically the scattering of seeds, or the process how we put the seeds into the soil. Third is the adding manure and fertilizers, which is very important because the crops lack various types of nutrients. If these nutrients are not provided to it, it will ultimately not grow. So hence it's very essential to add the manure and fertilizers and minerals like potassium, magnesium. So we will discuss it later on. Just you have to listen the video or watch the video till the end. I will explain everything in detail. Next is our irrigation. So irrigation, by irrigation we mean the supply of water to the crops. Next is our removal of weeds. Weeds means we know the unwanted plants that grow with the crops are referred to as the weeds, or the excess grass has to be removed so that there is a good crop production. So the method of removing this excess grass or the unwanted plants are referred to as the weeds, and which need to be removed, because if we doesn't remove it, ultimately our crop or the our agriculture will not be properly utilized. Next is our harvesting. So by harvesting we basically means to chop off the grains. Next is our storage of food grains. So now we move on to the first point, that is preparation of soil. So the soil is prepared for sowing the seeds of the crop by plowing, leveling, and manuring. So the soil is basically prepared by three processes. The first is our plugging, second is leveling, third is our manuring. The process of loosening and turning the soil is called plowing or tilling. So means the process of loosening the soil is referred to as plowing or tilling. The plowed soil is leveled by pressing it with a wooden leveler. So we have to level the plowed soil in order to maintain its fertility, and to prevent the soil erosion. So we could level it using an iron leveler or a wooden leveler, so that the soil is not blown away by the wind or drained off by water. Next, the third step is our manuring. Manuring means adding manure to the soil Manuring is done to increase the fertility of the soil before seeds are sown into it. So basically, manuring means to add manure to the soil. And why is manuring mainly done? So manuring mainly is done to increase the fertility of the soil, to enrich its fertility before the seeds are sown into it. Next is our sowing. So as I have earlier told about it, the process of scattering seeds or putting seeds in the ground soil for growing the crop plants is called sowing. So the process of scattering or putting the seeds into the soil are referred to as sowing. Good quality seeds are clean and healthy seeds, free from infection and diseases. So the good quality seeds are those seeds which are free from any kind of infection or diseases. The process of transferring the seeds from the nursery to the main field by hand is called transplantation or transplanting. So here we are coming on to a main very important topic, that is transplantation or transplanting. So the process of transferring the seedlings from the nursery to the main field by hand is called transplantation or transplanting.